I'm calling the meeting of the Recycling Committee on December 10th, 2024. Present in the room is Vanessa Riccati and David O'Connell. Online, Jean Landis-Nauman and Jean Wyatt. This meeting is being recorded by the local scene, formerly PAC TV. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. Are you seeing anyone else on there, Vanessa?
No, nobody in the room.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the first, do we have any minutes to approve?
We have the
November
minutes
12th.
from November 12th
We do?
that you sent us.
Oh, okay, okay.
I make a
everybody-
motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, we take a voice vote. Vanessa?
I'm going to abstain. I wasn't here.
Okay, David?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Jean Landis-Nauman, aye. Okay, thank you.
And I will get some for the next meeting since they weren't on the agenda. I didn't want to add them on. So,
Okay.
agenda.
All right, I'm gonna drop down to the outreach assistance. Have you all been able to sign up for the Facebook page, Kingston Recycles?
Yes.
Okay, so you're getting the alerts?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
what do you think of them?
I have not followed all of them. I get the alerts, but I don't do Facebook all that often. So I've looked at a few of them early on recently.
Okay.
I get the alerts and I've been looking at them and they look good.
Okay,
It's kind of, it's like a little educational thing. Every time I get a notification, it'll
you look at it.
give some information.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's important that we give her feedback if there's anything on there we'd like to have done differently. I did ask, Don Alcombright has started up a weekly newsletter. If you're not getting that, you might want to go on the town website and sign up for that. But at the bottom of the newsletter, he has links to other pages, mostly Facebook. And I asked him to please include the Kingston Recycles. He said he would. So there seems to be more people finding it all the time. When you do look at it, be sure to share it, because that's another way to get it out to people who might not normally look at it. Okay, I did have, as you'll recall, I had a conversation with Jessica a couple of weeks ago. Told her I was a little concerned about the amount that we were being billed. So on November 30th, I got an email from her. I barely did anything for Kingston this month, so I'll just roll it into next month's invoice. Okay, so no bill to pay there for this month. Any questions, concerns?
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think she's putting out some very relevant, timely snippets, and that's probably the best way, just a little bit at a time.
Yeah, as Jean said, they are educational and they are upbeat in a way. So I like the tone of them.
Yep. Okay. And if you think of something that you'd like to have her cover, be sure to let me know. I'm sorry, somebody was going to talk.
I have a question. It's like a couple of things I had sent a reply back, and I don't want to insult anyone. You know what I mean? It's like, does that go on the public side of the comment? Like we had talked about not letting
People comment.
people comment. So I'm just concerned because I don't want her to feel undermined with my responses. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, excuse me, I'm not aware that that comment thing works. Maybe it does. Do you want me to reach out to her and see if she has any kind of response to your comments?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
It'd be helpful to know.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably also use messenger, send a message directly, then it's a, point to point as opposed to a broadcast.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Then I want to jump. Oh, geez. The organics collection. Okay, I believe I shared with you the string of emails that I've had with Rob in facilities. He and the health agent attended a seminar recently on the growing rat population on the South Shore. They had concerns about the organic collection bins being a target for the rats. And it was just determined that the bins themselves have to go in a metal enclosed container. So Rob was more than willing to find the type of container and to pay for it out of his money. And it'll be, I can't remember, was there a picture of it in?
The pictures, the attachments didn't come through when you shared the string,
Okay.
so there was no way to look at what it was, but
Okay, sorry.
here doesn't.
So it's got two doors in the front and then it's got a lid. And what he said is there'll be a button on the side for a piston that will open the lid, and he's going to attach a chain to the lids on the bins so that when you press that button, the lid raises up and so do the lids on the bins. And then when the person is done, they'll push the button and it'll close up. The doors in the front can be opened by Black Earth for them to take them out and dump them. I called Black Earth to explain what was being done, and she said, "Oh, we have that in several locations, particularly in Boston and Cambridge." So she said, "We're very familiar with it. It should not present any problems for us." I did get an email from Rob yesterday. He said just a quick update that the metal shed was ordered beginning of last week. Just waiting for it to arrive. Already spoke to my staff. They're ready to take care of it when it does. So they're going to put it together, anchor it, get it all set to go. The one thing I didn't cover with him was placement of the sign that we have there. And I know we've talked about getting a new sign for there. So that's where we are with the organic collection. I was there, what's today? Sunday, I'm sorry, my brain, I have COVID brain at the moment. I was there Sunday morning. The two bins were almost full, which was very encouraging, since the majority of that material went in there on one day, because I now get the alerts from Black Earth when they do the pickup, which is on a Friday. So I was very encouraged to see that both bins were more than 3/4 full. So
I went last night, and
Mhm.
one of them was so full you couldn't close the lid,
Ugh.
and I could barely fit my stuff in and then close it.
Okay, so it sounds like maybe we're at the point where we need a third bin.
Yeah.
Now, Rob said, should we need additional collection bins, then he'll just order a second metal enclosure. So I'm thinking maybe I need to let him know to go ahead and do that.
How many bins does the one on order hold?
It holds 2 bins.
You'll definitely need a second one.
Yeah, so
'Cause I don't know,
Yeah,
I sent you an email, Jane.
You did?
Yeah, last week, because I got there and I had to take away what I took.
Oh, okay,
They were mounded. I mean, there was just absolutely no room in either one of them.
okay, all right,
The thing that's gonna happen this week too, if they were really that full yesterday. We've got today, Tuesday, so we got Tuesday, Wednesday, and we probably won't do much that because of the weather, but who knows?
right, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
when I went, I think it was the week before though, there were big pumpkins in it and they were gross. I wasn't gonna take them back out, but I'm thinking, I don't know what these metal storage things look like. But if the lid is what opens, then we've got the whole front that we could put signage on. I know at some point we had pumpkins go in land waste, not in the kitchen waste.
Yeah, that's where it's,
More of those signs and more seasonal too. I mean, pumpkins aren't a big deal all through the spring or summer or anything else. So we don't have to take up real estate with it, but to be able to then post something in the fall that says, these kinds of things can go here as opposed to in this bin. So I don't know what they look like, but I think the front could be really rich signage, information dispensing area, so.
okay, all right, good. Yeah, I did not spend any time trying to see what was in there. I'm sure there are some well-intentioned people who think that their pumpkins should go there. Excuse me, although,
I also think pumpkins in the land waste are a rat problem too. So I mean, if I was informed that rats were a problem, I would probably put pumpkin as food as opposed to trees and branches and leaves.
I know.
well, just a comment, my home compost bin, I have like a spade shovel, and sometimes I have to like chop stuff up. So it'll all fit in easily, plus it breaks down faster.
Sure,
So maybe as a short-term thing, I could bring my spade
Nobody-
shovel in.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I don't think anyone's gonna do that though.
No, he's talking about doing it himself.
Oh,
It's basically, it's an annual problem. I don't,
well, I think watermelon kind of contributes in the same way.
Well,
There's other sort of seasonal things that, people like, I don't want to eat this watermelon, I'm just gonna throw it in the food waste. Or they take a little, I mean, they're just space hogs in a way that these two bins, but I think if you tried to bam it down with a spade, you'd rip the plastic bag too.
but the other thing is, if we expand to at least another one, and I would suspect that we're gonna go to 4 at some point, then that might at least perhaps temporarily take that problem. So we'll
Yeah.
have to deal with it as we go into the future.
I learned something interesting a couple weeks ago. An acquaintance that lives in one of the Pine Hills villages. How they're expanding that whole thing, and it's all condo, but they have Black Earth coming, and they have kind of a, whatever their street or their neighborhood area is. They've got Black Earth coming up to do pickups that way. And I know we had talked about individuals in town being able to do something like that, but if they're really spread out, then they're paying a lot of money for the bin and for the pickup. But if
Right.
communities decided that it was lucrative, and I don't know how lucrative it is if you live in Pine Hills, but just different, we've got a lot of condominium kind of neighborhoods, certainly the prefab home communities, but I don't know the names of them, but if they decided, you know what, we're gonna do this as a community, so it's one pickup and we all have our stuff out there at certain times or whatever,
Mhm.
it would be a way to distribute how much is coming in just to the transfer station as Kingston was.
Mhm. Yeah. Excuse me, yeah, I did put up the poster for Black Earth for curbside pickup on the bulletin board as you come in the townhouse. I don't know that they've had any response to that, but I think it runs about $11 a week. So, that's $44 on top of whatever they're paying for trash removal. So as I told the woman who contacted me from Black Earth, I would be surprised if they get much of a response because that's quite an additional expense each month.
Right, but I think if you had a community of people that said, we're all gonna put this out here and Black
Yeah.
Earth can come and that's $11 and we split it $1 a piece and it's a kind of different service.
Yeah.
You'd have to help people to realize that they could do a coordinated effort like that.
Yes. Yeah. And that's really what Black Earth wanted us to do all the promo on it, and I didn't feel that that was ethical for us to be promoting one private company's uh, thing over another. If you feel differently, let me know. But I just didn't feel comfortable acting as their agent.
Yeah, no, I
I
understand.
think,
And when they
I
said
think that-
individuals can do it, I thought, an individual's not gonna do that. But when I heard that this was a community thing that they had done, so they're all kind of jointly doing it, we probably have communities that they could reach out to that they could do the same thing. I don't know how that community figured out they could get this service for a number of households.
Do they have a central collection bin like we have?
Let's see, what did she say? I don't know, I'd have to ask the details of it, but I know that it was like a neighborhood kind of little cohort. It wasn't like they were driving, streets and streets and streets.
Right.
Asked
Right.
for the cost for what it was for her share either.
Right.
It was coordinated. It wasn't just, I decided to do it and, oh, my neighbor down the street's doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna all do it and chip in and make it worth their time to come up here and get stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Jean, did you want to comment?
if, if, if my understanding of it is correct, you can put it out there and let people know that it's an option, but not promote it. Like the recycling committee isn't promoting this individual company, but just letting, education, it's we're just letting people know that this, like, if you phrased it like if you live in a community like the retirement community down
Town and country?
Big Y, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say if you said something like if you live in a condensed community with shared blah blah blah, this could be an option for you. Something like that. So it's educational, not promotional. So I don't know. That was my understanding of it, but
Okay. Is that you think somehow I can get Jess to include a message perhaps after the holidays about that availability of that service, and it'd be up to the resident to contact Black Earth directly?
Yeah, I think it embedded with how much food waste adds to tonnage. And really it is that it gets burned instead of composted or whatever.
Right.
And then just here's an option, but it's not really an ad for them. It's a option to deal with, here's this issue. And if you want to, add to a solution, then there are possibilities out there, but you have to go.
Yeah, I do believe that Town and Country has their own trash collection contract for their community. I know some of the residents have gotten recycling only stickers for things that their trash company won't take, so that they can bring stuff to the transfer station. But yeah, I have no problem with working with Jess to put together something along the lines that this is an available service, but they would need to work directly with Black Earth. Okay, anything else on the organics? There were some empty oil containers there. I just took them, put them up in the trash. And I think, if we just keep after it, this should be a problem. Anything else on the organics?
We have another year-long contract. We can either improve it or whatever, but in a year we'll have to make another decision, or is this ongoing, or what? How do we view this?
With what, honey?
Black Earth, we're doing the food
Right.
organic collection? We have a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract, or what do we?
It was a 1 year with possible 2-year extension, so we're in the first year of extension,
Okay,
okay? But built into that contract is the fact that we notify them when we're ready for an additional bin,
okay,
okay? So that will bump us up another 40. Okay. We're paying what, 190 a month now for 4 pickups, 2 bins, so 8. We're paying, so we just need to realize we'll be paying an additional, I think, $24 for the 3rd bin, but I think it may be time to do that.
Definitely.
Okay.
Well, it's good news because it means it's working.
I know,
know.
yeah, and word's getting out, I think. So we know there's a certain portion of the population in Kingston that will do everything they can to recycle. A smaller portion of them will do the organics, and then you've got a significant number of people who don't want to be bothered with either one.
I found it interesting at the agricultural fair, because those of us who already compost, like, this is beyond anything that's useful. And so to be able to talk with those people and say, yeah, but you know that yuck that you don't want to compost, do you eat meat in your house? What do you do with that stuff? They were kind of enlightened by the idea that there was an option that stuff didn't have to go in the trash. The rich stuff they put in their compost, but the stuff that you don't want to compost has a way to go other than in the landfill too, or into the.
Okay. So these were people who have a sticker for the transfer station, but we're not aware of the organic collection.
Well, because when they think of composting, they say, I already do that.
Okay.
And so it was to say, yeah, but it's for that stuff, like, you don't put the chicken bones in there, you don't put the turkey cock stuff, you cook the soup, that's what you can put in there. And they were
Right.
like, oh, that I hadn't thought of before. Good.
Okay, good. Yeah, we did include that flyer. It was on a bright yellow sheet with their instructions this year, hoping that at least a few of them would bother to read it. And so perhaps it is working to a certain degree. And I think we'll just keep pushing on it. I'll have Jess continue to push on the organic.
But it's sort of beyond what you would compost at home. 'Cause I think
Right.
myself as a composter thought, well, that's great for those people who just don't want to put a bin in the backyard. But I use it quite a bit for, like I said, the stuff that I won't put in my home.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay, pay as you throw. Are we ready to move on to pay as you throw?
Sure. Oh, I have one more quick question about the organics. Did Hingham ever move forward after they got inspired by us?
No, they're waiting for their DPW director to retire. He has made it abundantly clear to them that he will not even consider it. So they're frustrated. They're very frustrated, but they said they're just gonna have to wait him out. And he is probably within a year or two of retirement. So yeah, even though, I viewed the video, I thought between Paul and I, we covered pretty much all the concerns. And I thought by having Paul involved, he's an equivalent to their DPW director that might sway him, but apparently not. Okay, pay as you throw. I think we all got inspired after our last meeting with the woman from the Dartmouth, New Bedford program about how quickly they increased the amount of organic material that they were recycling, and that they had a pay-as-you-throw program, which certainly was a big motivation for people to remove as much stuff as they could from their trash. We've done this, we've tried to do this before, And in talking with Todd, if you'll recall, he worked with Halifax, I believe, last year. But they did it as a Board of Health regulation. But they had a pretty long period of time leading up to that decision. He did a lot of informational sessions with residents. And I'm thinking that if we're really serious about a pay-as-you-throw program, we probably need a little bit longer time than we will have for this annual town meeting, which is, I believe they've now scheduled it for the end of April. So I think we would be doing ourselves a disservice if we tried to rush this and get the same response that we got last time, because not enough people understand what we're talking about and how it could significantly decrease their costs, their out-of-pocket costs for trash. And I don't know if you read the the newsletter from Sasha Recycling, but they now have a couple of towns with really tight budgets, and they're moving in the direction of making a transfer station an enterprise fund, so that the entire cost of running that will be borne by the users. I'm not aware of any sentiment like that yet here in Kingston, although I know they are talking about a probable need for an override, which is what usually precipitates some action like this. We did try and work out the numbers on this the last time we did pay-as-you-throw, just to see what the cost would be, how it would jump up for each user. And it would be significant because our sticker prices are pretty low compared to the cost of our trash and recycling disposal. But I do understand that there are serious talks right now about increasing the transfer station sticker significantly. So, if you're reading the tea leaves, it seems to me that they may be heading in that direction. And if they are, I think that would be our opportunity to start with the pay-as-you-throw.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, as long as we can give real numbers of what the contrast is. But I think most people don't even have a sense, they don't meter what they take to the transfer station. So to have to start thinking in terms of metering it, like what would I put in the plastic bag and how many plastic bags would we need in a week? And how could I reduce that? Is the hard part for people to wrap their brains around. So, but yeah, to be able to provide like real numbers.
Yeah.
Cost, and you can dump unlimited, and here's what bags cost, and you can do, this many to be the equivalent of what your sticker cost is. Can you recycle, and can you, not buy and throw away everything? And
yeah, because I think, money talks, and if they're faced with the option of having to pay significantly more for a sticker, or learning how to reduce the amount of their trash, so that they, it's not a huge increase in anyone's budget. I think that the whole process goes hand in hand, because, okay, now you're gonna have to pay more. Well, how do we reduce the amount you're gonna have to pay? What are the options? And we had significant numbers for our presentation at town meeting. But what we also had was, a group of very active citizens who were opposed to many ideas offered by the town. And we did have, people who have a larger household who recognized right away that they would actually be paying more than they are now. Again, our sticker prices are a bargain. When you realize that the majority of residents who have a curbside pickup are paying at least $50 a month, if not more, that's $600 right there that they're willing to shell out for the ability to just drag their bins to the curb instead of having to haul everything in their car. So back to time frame. I just feel that we may not be at the optimal time to make a push on this, but I want to hear what you have to think. What your thoughts are on this.
If the town in fact increases the sticker price, obviously it's substantial, then people are going to be concerned about that. They'll be concerned anyway, but if it's really substantial, I'm sure it's going to encourage some sort of discussion. And I don't. What are the mechanics of it? In other words, whatever the percentage may be that the sticker price goes up, what's the argument relative to pay as you throw, and can we circumvent an increase prior to the not circumvent, but delay an increase prior to offering a pay as you throw and giving them the comparison relative to pay as you throw. And the other thing that we all know and hasn't been mentioned in this discussion so far is that another selling point is that you pay as you throw, but you're throwing less because you're going to start recycling more. Now, I know all of us that use the transfer station see people with black bags that have goods in them that could be recycled, and they're not doing it because they don't have to. This way, they can see the value, financial value in recycling and taking that extra 10 or 15 minutes at the transfer station to do that. So in other words, if I don't know how we come up with figures, but if we can come up with some argument showing the financial gain, or at least coming even relative to the sticker price increase or pay as you throw, and maybe not so much of an increase and no increase at all. But that would also, we need to have that. I don't know, Gene, you'd have to tell us who do we talk to relative in the town that is the people who run the transfer station? Is it the facilities director? Is it the town manager, or the board of selectmen? A presentation to the board of selectmen.
I think, David, that we would have to start with the town town administrator, because I think that may be where the move to increase the sticker price may be coming from. In my couple brief discussions with Sean Turner, who's now, acting as the superintendent, I think he's pretty much being told the rate has to go up. So I think it would behoove us to get a little more involved in that discussion as soon as possible and see if the time is right for pay as you throw and how that might or might not impact the increase in the sticker price. I was just hoping for a little more time than 4 months to help educate the voters on what a pay-as-you-throw program could do for them, and how little effort it would take to minimize the amount of trash that they're disposing of. But that's going to take a lot of intensive meetings. First we have to pull all the numbers together, then we have to schedule some meetings. I know Todd has expressed interest in helping us with that. I just don't know what else he's got going with other communities, keeping in mind he's got 32 communities. We're not his only one. But he has expressed interest in helping us with some educational meetings for people, but so how do the rest of you feel? Should I start engaging with the town administrator and Sean to see what they may actually be planning and how the pay-as-you-throw program could help minimize the increase of the sticker fee?
Yeah, the other thing is, I mean, there are a lot of communities that are doing it and been doing it, I assume, successfully. And I don't remember your presentation in its entirety when you did it a few years ago.
What?
Excuse me, yeah. Do you want me to repeat it verbatim? I mean, I have it written down wrong. And it's with the minutes from last week. I copied them and stapled them together, and I can't find the two documents. So that's how efficient I am. To take some of that material and use it as an educational tool. I mean, if there are towns that are doing it successfully and have been doing it for a while, then there's some proof of value. And I know that we've talked about this a little bit some time ago, but I think that there is enough, there may be, and Todd would know better, there may be enough information out there that would be of great value to us. And we could,
Absolutely, yes.
and we could present that to the town administrator and those who will make that decision.
Okay, all right.
I have two comments.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to think in terms of, like, that's one of the grants, or at least it always has been, available, like through Todd, there's funding available to help do the implementation. And we might want to coordinate it with the next grant cycle. And from what I understand from the people I've talked to, is when you have pay-as-you-throw, you get more contaminants in the recycling stream because people do wishful recycling. They put stuff in there, and so that it ends up being a fairly significant amount of contamination in the recycling stream. So that's one thing. And the other thing is coordinating it with a grant. And the last time we did it, we worked with someone from the Plymouth Chamber of Commerce who have done this multiple times, and they even, I think they somehow pulled the people who voted in the last election or last couple of elections and targeted them for education. So those are three things that I wanted to just put out there.
You're right, Cheaton. The town did previously receive a grant for implementing pay-as-you-throw, and we had to return it because we didn't get far enough along to utilize it. What was I thinking here? It's really, when you think about it, it's not all that difficult to implement. You educate people as to why, they should be recycling and what they should be recycling. And then instead of them buying black or white trash bags at a store, they just buy the designated bags for pay-as-you-throw. If you go into any grocery store now, you'll see a small display, excuse me, a small display of the recycling bags for a particular community. I think Big Y has Duxbury. I'm not sure if they have Plymouth or not. So it's an educational thing, and what can be recycled, what has to go in your trash, and where you get the bags. I'm not sure why the state is offering huge grants for this. I think the one we got was for what, 24,000 before, I believe. But
I don't remember the exact amount.
Yeah,
but we also worked with somebody, a company that does that prints the bags and stuff.
waste
So,
zeros.
yeah,
Yeah, we did. In fact, they were extremely helpful in getting all the numbers together for our presentation. I think they actually did some of the PowerPoint slides for us. And again, this is probably something that Todd could help us with. So do you think now might be the time for me to engage with the town administrator and Sean to see exactly what they're planning on doing with the sticker fee? And then,
I certainly think it is prior to their making a decision,
okay, all
you
right.
know.
Just worried that we,
At least we have some input, okay? Otherwise, they're gonna increase the price and then becomes another discussion. Well, we just increase the price and pay, so maybe not, you know?
yeah, and I know the town administrator is looking into software that would allow people to um, buy their sticker online. There's software out there that people can use. They would simply go into whatever site we would have set up. I'm not sure how the sticker gets to them, if that's mailed or what. Sorry. But avoid all that expense that we now have. The number of man hours that are devoted strictly to issuing stickers each year. It's a very labor intensive process because everybody has to show up at the highway barn. They have to present ID and motor vehicle information. Then that all gets typed into a database, which I find so inefficient. I mean, they should already have the majority of that for people who are repeat sticker buyers, but apparently that's not how it's set up right now. So, so I know that and I know that the town administrator is pushing hard to get that software in place. So we could also point out the savings there in overtime and man hours. Any other thoughts on this? If we do go down this lane, it's going to mean some intensive work to, number one, pull everything together, and then two, get it disseminated to the public. I'm just concerned that 4 months is probably not going to work in our favor.
definitely not.
And I know they're already talking about having another fall special town meeting next year. So this might be something we could plan on. That would give us over 10 months. So I think I personally would feel a little more comfortable having that amount of time.
I agree.
Well, I think just to get the idea of bouncing around that instead of just, because if they raise the sticker price too much, people are just gonna all go to home pickup, which doesn't support the transfer station's operating costs at all. The other part is, I don't know what sticker prices are when you do pay as you throw, because for a household of an individual, the price of that ticket is a lot for them to throw things away. And then you've got the big families who would be kind of rounding it out. They don't make money on the bags though, do they? So it's really all that the transfer station gets is the sticker price. So it still has to be pretty high. And I think I was sort of taken aback because I do recycle and I didn't have a lot of bags. So to buy all the bags and pay the sticker price, it's gotta sell, it's gotta be smooth. And so I think just to plant the seed that this is something we're thinking of instead of just raising the sticker price, because people will leave and get home pickup from a shoddy company that they can throw everything away and not have to recycle or not have to separate or not have to do whatever.
Oh, but they do have to recycle. if you'll recall, um,
Supposed to. Are we enforcing that now?
yeah, that was in the bylaw change that we made at town meeting last month, this month, whatever we are, last month.
Last month?
Because remember we had written up the private hauler regulations for the Board of Health, and it mandated that the companies provide a waste bin and a recycle bin. And so we've now incorporated what was a mandate to recycle to those who use the transfer station. Of course, nobody is policing it. But you know, that was why I wanted to modify the bylaw. So it says that every resident of Kingston has to recycle. Now, in order to enforce that, you know, we need someone who can periodically inspect what people are throwing away. And that costs money to have someone to do that enforcement. I don't think there's an appetite at this town level to provide additional money for that sort of thing, simply because they are looking at an override just to cover the current budget. So it's not like there's money sitting there. But again, back to Jean's thoughts on applying for a grant. We would have to see what a grant like that would cover, and whether it could be used to subsidize some of the initial shock. I'd really be surprised, Vanessa, if a lot of people, you know, let's say the sticker price goes up to 300. That's still only half of what they would pay for private hauler. Granted, they don't have to drag the material anywhere, but excuse me, it would still be a huge increase for them to stop getting a sticker and just getting private hauler. And keeping in mind that not only do we offer recycling and trash, but we're also offering all the big furniture, the yard waste. I mean, there's a lot of services being offered at the transfer station that private hauler could not do. So I think there's still real value in having a sticker as opposed to just going with private hauler. Thoughts?
That was just my thought. I think you're right. Probably a lot won't, but I also feel like there's a lot of people coming to Kingston that are coming from municipalities where they're just accustomed to, all right, if that's what it costs, I'm just gonna put it at the end of the driveway. As
Right.
that population base changes here, I wonder how expensive support, I mean, if it went to an enterprise system, I mean, I don't even know what balance is right now between what stickers pay for and what.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
minimal amount. They
So if
said,
they think they're gonna, bridge that gap in sticker price, I don't think
Yeah.
$300 is gonna do it either.
no, because I think right now we've got at least 3,000 regular stickers. And then there's quite a few more that are second stickers or replacement stickers, but 3,000 at $240 doesn't come close to covering the cost of the transfer station, which is if I recall, it's hovers somewhere between 7 and 800,000.
How many households are there in Duxbury? I mean, excuse me, in Kingston?
There are
4,000 something, I think.
no, it's over 5,000 now.
So
Oh.
we're selling 3,000 stickers?
Yes,
That's pretty good percentage.
it is. It is. And I think, you know, what Vanessa said is as newcomers come here, they're not they're not used to having to take their trash anywhere. they expect curbside. So I don't know. From what they've told me from, Lynn at the transfer or at the highway barn who issues the stickers, there's been a gradual increase in the number of stickers bought. So it could be when people come here and find out that they can get rid of their trash for half of what it would cost for curbside. I think a certain percentage would switch. I just don't have anything to base the numbers on.
I don't doubt that for a moment. And the other thing is, I don't know how you get the word out, but all of the things you pointed out is, you can do a certain amount of construction waste, so to speak. The recycling thing is obviously beneficial, but there are the conveniences. I mean, where do you take a large piece of furniture? You have to pay somebody else to take it away, which would cost a lot more. Now, not everybody has that problem or the need. But I think it's a selling point. Again, it's how do we communicate that so that it's effective? I don't know.
Okay.
Facebook the page, maybe that will have a certain level of success.
Yeah, I'm thinking Jess could really help us out trying to promote this. Keep in mind we have I believe it's a 6-month contract with her, which started maybe in October. So we're almost halfway through her initial contract. It can be renewed. But I'm just trying to think of all the details here. I'm sorry about this cough. Okay, so what's the consensus that we should start investigating to see if now would be an opportune time to try and promote pay-as-you-throw and see if it would fit into their thoughts on a special town meeting almost a year from now?
I would think so, yes.
Okay. All right, Jean, you have any additional thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think we should start. Now's the time to.
Okay, at least get a little more information, and like I believe you said, make sure that we're part of that conversation about about the sticker prices.
Madam.
Like I said, I think planting the seed that there's an option besides just like prices through the roof. I would hate to see it have to go to an enterprise just because it's a lot of, I mean, I don't know that recycling prices are gonna go up, unfortunately. So that, if the markets, I mean, I kind of wish that we had markets for the recycled materials, but right now, isn't dumping prices pretty high on those? And I don't think they're gonna come down. So across the board, no matter how much we separate things out, it's gonna be costly to get rid of waste, and we can't change the behavior of the, I think one of the great things is maybe Trump could close down all the dollar stores, because it's just too easy to buy that stuff and throw it away the next day. And that's kind of a big part of our problem. Put tariffs on that stuff and people will think, oh, I could wrap this up and use it for the next birthday party or something instead of throwing it away because it's just a buck and I might want a different color next time or something. But until that kind of behavior changes, I think making the transfer station an enterprise, it's, the prices have to keep going up and up and up and up because we don't have a market for the recyclables that is profitable, and it's just too easy to throw stuff away.
But that's absolutely true. However, we've got to start. We've got to do it. And there are people out there who may be ignorant of the fact that what they're doing is killing their children, and might join in. And that's another. I mean, that's pretty broad. But people need to be educated. And Jean's drinking out of a plastic bottle, which isn't good for him.
I know.
I mean, I look at the amount of plastic we have in our home, and it drives me crazy. And I don't think that we are doing enough not to have that. And it's.
I agree.
My family, it's just the two of us, but I don't get listened to enough. And and you can do it. you can do it. I mean, we're not gonna get rid of plastic, but we can certainly cut down.
No, the oil industry is is mightier than anything else. So they need to keep producing plastic.
They do, but we also have to, I mean, it's a long road.
Yeah, we are not good at boycotts. We know Americans are not good at boycotts.
No, they're not. And the other
Once
thing,
we need something from the store we say we won't go to, we go to the store
go
and
to the
get
store and get
it.
it, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I think to plant the seed that pay as you throw is an option we'd like to put on the table to get other people thinking about it too. You're right, it's a lot of legwork and yeah, there's gonna be shortfalls in the budget, and trash is something they don't wanna think about it. They don't, that's downstream for them and just get it out. But it's a commodity that we've gotta figure out how we assign a value to it, and we have to think about that value and, is it just in black plastic bags, or is it in bags you purchase that you have chosen what you put in there?
Well, again, there are towns that have been doing it, and apparently successfully, because they've been doing it for a while.
But we should also talk to the towns who stopped doing it, like Halifax or whoever else.
Yes, indeed. I don't disagree with
I
that at
think
all.
to have both sides of it.
You have
but
to have both sides.
I think education is a big part of it. How much is my sticker gonna cost and how much are my bags gonna cost?
Yeah.
and
The sticker price would go down significantly. I think when we were discussing this previously, we had it at $25 or $50 for the year.
What's the recycle right now?
Hmm?
What does just buying a recycle sticker cost right now?
I think it's just $25.
So it would have to be above that number, but hopefully not too much.
Yeah. Now we'd have to work out the numbers again. So there's a couple other things we need to keep in mind. Number one, our contract with CMAS expires in 2029. And it seems a long way off, but really it's only 4 years. So as
They have a monopoly. They
yeah,
have a real monopoly over there.
yeah. Well, and chances are that they're not going to be in existence. The state is really pushing to eliminate
Incineration.
those. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they think people are going to do with their trash. We're still going to generate a certain amount of trash. You can't function in today's society and not produce some trash. But again, with some more education about what can be recycled, on the back end of that is, as you pointed out, Vanessa, there's not enough places handling recycled material. You've got to have a buyer for the material that we're trying to recycle. And if you don't have a buyer, the stuff is going to end up in the trash. Then also,
It's what all the cynics think anyways.
yeah. And then you have this Kingston, what's the name?
Yeah.
The train project. As far as I can tell, there's not a lot of movement on that. I think our town council has reached out to their council saying we need more information on the details of your project. I believe that's what Keith told me, is that it's really right now in the hands of the lawyers trying to figure out what they're proposing and how it would benefit Kingston. As they were talking about providing curbside pickup of trash as an incentive for us to allow them to begin operations in Kingston. So that would significantly impact our transfer station, because it would basically become a recycling station.
Yeah, and if it's not into perpetuity, then we're kind of stuck, because when it stops, we have to recreate everything that we've dismantled.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull together all the pieces that could be factors in this whole process. nothing's ever straightforward when you're dealing with government. So just trying to make sure we're cognizant of every issue that could impact what we're proposing. Okay, all right, so I will contact the town administrator and get the ball rolling there. Promotion of the
I'm
Yeah.
on the town website and recycling only sticker, it says $40.
Oh, it is 40. Okay, thank you. I obviously didn't have that. Okay, so promotion of transfer station and signage. I think I did tell you all that I met with Sean. Paul had promised us he would get the new signage in place before he left. That didn't happen. Sean is feeling some pressure, not from me, but some pressure to get the signage done. So I volunteered to, once again, come up with a list of the signage that we feel is important, along with a budget. He's given me a contractor in Brockton that they use quite a bit for outside signage. So my intent was to get that done last week. It didn't happen. It's not going to happen this week because I don't know when I'm going to be able to leave the house again. So I'm not sure if it's going to get done this month or if that'll be a January task for me to do. He has a certain amount of money left, excuse me, in his sign line on his budget, but it was severely depleted by the number of signs that they had to produce for the intersection at School and Station Street by the high school. So that was an unexpected expense for him. So I did remind him that we do have money to do that sort of thing. We've got our RDP, and we've also got our other CMAS fund. I also have been asking when we might get our RDP money, which normally would come in August or September. No word on that. No word on our application for grant for the swap shop either. It appears that there's something going on at the state level where they're not authorizing some of this grant money. I don't know what's behind that, but we're still adequately funded. And again, part of this conversation, it's got so many moving parts. We had talked about what we would have as handouts when people get their stickers. If people are going to get their stickers online, then that probably eliminates that expense for us, because how would we disseminate this stuff? If we want people to have some items such as a reusable shopping bag, how would they obtain that? Because we're trying to eliminate the need to drive to the town hall to get their sticker. And we also talked about having items for handout at the ag fair. So a lot of things here that we need to be cognizant of, and how one could affect the other. Any questions on that?
It's 100% done deal. We're going to buy our stickers online, or it's a proposal?
Say that again, Vanessa.
It's 100% done deal. We're going to buy our stickers online, or is it a proposal?
No, they're in the process of trying to find and buy the software. So it's not a done deal, but they're really pushing to have it in place for this upcoming sticker purchase period. So they would have to be in place before June 1st. So there's a lot of ifs. And we're just gonna have to see how it all plays out.
Do you know offhand if they have thoroughly investigated what it costs to continue to distribute the stickers as we're doing now?
Well, I mean, Paul does have, Paul, the highway department does have the total cost for that. It is a line item in his budget,
It is.
the budget, yeah, to do that. So
And
yeah,
all I'm thinking about, I'm listening to this, as I'm thinking of there is some convenience for other. There's a convenience there to broadcast information that we will lose. You know, and minor items, well, not minor to me, but you know, what we give away,
mhm.
you know, is a bit of a reward. And I don't know. I'm hesitant I'm personally hesitant to give into the whole idea of doing it online because
No, I'm with you, David.
you know,
It's just another spot. I mean, and especially because it will be a third-party vendor, so we'll have to pay another $20 or something for the interaction online or some percentage of the whatever. But the other part is in the Aggie Fair, we've got people from all kinds of towns. And so it's not like we're rewarding Kingston Recycling or Kingston Transfer Station users.
Right.
So it's not really a venue to reward those who get their sticker.
Right, yeah. So,
but I think, you know, I don't know what the argument would be exactly, but is it worth talking, you know, joining in with you and meeting with the decision makers and say, this is what you're going to be giving up, and you know, is there real value here? And
sure,
I understand what you're saying. It's a line item thing, but you know, maybe the value of doing it is greater than the value of not doing it.
And we're a little town still, and I think we're giving up some of the good qualities of, you know, I say to people, it used to be the grocery store, but everyone shops at a million different grocery stores, but there's always someone to talk to at the transfer station that I haven't seen in other loops of life. And so it's kind of a social thing. And I can't say that buying the sticker is the same thing, but there's just that interaction of how many people go to the town barn other than to buy their transfer station sticker.
yeah. Okay, well, that, it kind of segues into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7th item on here is the cobbler aprons / vests. I sent you all the material on the vests. I got pricing from the print place. So we have the cobbler aprons. Last meeting, I think you made it pretty clear that you really weren't too interested in that. So I also sent you the material from for the their fluorescent vests. You've seen people, you know, they work on the highway. The guys that work there at the transfer station have them. Clearly identifies who they are. And I did work with them to come up with a design that would have the town seal and the recycling committee on a logo on the pocket, and then on the back, recycling committee. And 12 pieces. Let me see. Well, they were each $19, and then there was a one-time fee of $15, minimum of 12. So we're looking at probably less than 300. And then these could, we could each have one and then have some at the swap shop for our volunteers to wear, to clarify that they are authorized to be there and safeguard what goes in and out of the swap shop. So I just need a decision on ordering these, and the reason I feel that this ties in, I think if we want to do something promotionally, if we're at the transfer station, we're providing assistance, we could also provide them with, here's your recycling bag, or here's your whatever that we decide to hand out. So we would actually be giving it to the people who are recycling and rewarding them for recycling.
Sounds
That
like
makes sense.
it does indeed.
I have a suggestion. Instead of recycling committee, why don't we put recycling volunteer on the back? Because the people who are in the swap shop aren't necessarily committee members.
Okay,
People can discuss that, but I just feel like, I don't want a vest, but I'm on the committee. I'll have a vest, but I have no use for the vest when I'm not on the committee. So, to get them in sort of generic sizes, we can't lock them in the swap shop because if we're going over there and it's locked, but essentially I don't see it as my personal vest. I just see it as I'm volunteering for, recycling education and stuff like that. Here it is. And so when people are in the swap shop, they're still in that capacity with some identifying stuff. I
Mhm.
also still think I don't need it in a day glow. I'm not going out in a snowstorm. It's not my job. I just kind of feel like something that at least they don't go like, who are you to tell me what to do? But
right. Well,
anyways, I'm fine with the direction we're going. I just kind of feel like I don't know that it has to say committee. It can just say volunteer.
okay, but that shouldn't be difficult to change if everyone's in agreement with that.
Probably the same number of letters.
Okay, so if they're all $19 times 12 plus 15. So we're looking at a little under $250. So do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
And the motion is to order vests, 12 vests
Mm-hmm.
to be used to identify recycling volunteers. And did you want to set an upper limit on that, Jean?
Well, probably,
Whatever the,
yeah, go ahead.
whatever the amount that you just calculated.
Okay.
Pretty soon.
Probably
That's
some tax in there somewhere for work, but
So-
If you buy them, well, if they're purchased through the town, there shouldn't be a tax.
okay.
there's no tax. No, the total cost is the 12 vests and a one-time setup charge of $15. So like I say, it comes to less than $250. So if we say up to $250 in your motion, Jean.
Sounds good.
All right, do I have a second?
Second,
Okay, let's take a voice vote. Vanessa, David,
aye.
Jean,
Aye.
and Jean L. Aye, so 4-0. Okay, I will get those ordered after Christmas. She asked if we could wait till after Christmas because they're very busy right now producing things for Christmas presents. So I'll wait till after the new year to order those. Okay, and the stuff comes in there pretty fast, so I would think within a week or two would have them.
Have you decided what the sizes will be or it doesn't matter, they're one size?
I went with 3 small, 8 large or extra large, and I'm sorry, 3 that are small medium, 8 that are large, extra large, and 1 that's 2x times 3x. Because I know we do have one volunteer who is a large gentleman, so I wanted to be sure he had a vest. But I would think, 9, 8, 11 of them are either small or large.
Sounds good, yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll get that moving. Okay. Um, Jean, at the last meeting, you said that you would reach out to the schools um, before this meeting. Have you had an opportunity to do that?
I have not. I want to put one together,
Mm-hmm.
and I have the tops and the holes have been routed out of them, but I still have to put the divider in the middle and set one up. And I was thinking of some options of how to do it, because the buckets are 5 gallon, and that's kind of heavy for anybody to pick up 5 gallons of liquid, and especially at that height. And then to get the material out, you would have to take the top off. I got liner bags for the cots. So I'm just trying to, I've been doing, investigating different ways of doing it. And that's what I wanted to present to Rick to, cause he's done it for years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sure he has a lot of thoughts on it. So I
Okay.
wanted to put something together to show him.
Okay, but
Right.
I think the bigger issue here is to establish a working relationship with the schools. And I know Vanessa and David, you had both said that you would be interested in working with Jean on this. Where are we with coming up with a plan and an approach to the schools to increase the recycling there and get some more teachers involved in the green team?
I don't think, we don't have a plan, do we?
No, what were you talking about, Jean?
The
This-
5 gallon bucket. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, what was that? What was your whole, I mean, when Jean asked you, Jean, to talk about contacting them, and then you launched into talking about something that I had no idea what you were talking about. What were you trying to assemble? What was the point of the whole thing that nobody could pick up? What are we talking about?
We get a grant to help the schools, or actually I got the grant. I got a $30,000 grant to help the schools with
Yeah, that was a long time ago, right?
yes. Yeah.
And there's still money?
No, but there's no money, but there's material. I have the bins, and I had to buy plywood, and all that is all paid for. I have the bags, all that stuff. It's just a matter of distributing them.
Oh, they're all,
And
you have them at your house?
yes,
Oh, okay, you have them all.
Okay,
Yep.
and what is this to be used for, Jean? Just refresh me.
so that they do beverage container recycling in the cafeteria.
Okay,
That's the point of it.
okay,
And I had worked with I forget her name, but her husband is the sheriff of
yes.
the jail, and the
Yep, that's
daughter did a mitzvah project, and I helped her with that to get um, beverage recycling at the intermediate school.
mhm,
And so I've just been, because everyone has changed, you know, pre-COVID now, it's like all the principals that I've dealt with are all new principals, and I haven't been sure about what's been going on. So I
okay,
reached out to Michelle from uh,
Elementary school.
um, actually she's in the school beside the high school, the junior high,
I know.
mhm,
and they've done an extraordinary job. And I've reached out to Liz from the elementary school, and I was just trying to get a gauge of, are they still recycling, or what are they doing?
mhm,
And so there's more moving parts than I suspected. And I'm just trying to get all the information of what are we dealing with? Like, because I got a grant that all the schools got recycling bins for paper and for commingle and um, all the signage and all that stuff. But after COVID, whatever, I'm trying to find out, well, what material is still, at the school, and are they doing it? Where are they at? So I've been
Okay.
trying to.
Okay, so you've got a specific project that you're working on, Jean. I think what we've been talking about is renewing our acquaintance with everyone at the schools, who's in charge of the recycling. Is it in each building, or is it, is there a coordinator for this, to see what else we can offer the schools to increase what they're recycling. Excuse me. And I thought the plan was that the three of you would come up with a proposal, or at least a plan of attack, so that we could reach out to Rick Swanson, see if he's still involved in the recycling, and just have a working relationship. It's we've been pushing this off for quite some time, and I think we really need to just do it. And it's just a matter of making a call to Rick, find out if he's willing to sit down with 1, 2, 3 of you to discuss where they are with the recycling. Certainly, Jean, you can share with him what you're working on, and see if they already have something in place, or if this would be a good time to introduce this. And then see what we can do to work hand in hand with the schools to increase the material that's being recycled, and just establish that relationship, so that they, we make them aware of the green team opportunities, the training that's available through there. So I thought we were all of one mind some months ago when we talked about this. I'm not sure that we are.
Yeah, so Jean, how do I do that? Jean the guy, Jean Lott.
It's Ms. Jean and Mr. Jean.
Okay, Mr. Jean, I sort of kind of stepped back because I feel like you have relationships, but now you've just said everything's changed. Is it okay if I kind of take the lead and reach out to Rick and figure out who the people are and where to go? Or,
Yeah.
I sort of wanted you to be able to kind of reestablish, but it sounds like those links aren't there. And so I don't want to step on your toes, but I do think we need to spearhead this a little bit, and I would be willing to do that. I didn't even know you still had stuff at your house. That never came up before. And in terms of container recycling, is that like milk cartons, or what is it that the container recycling is?
Well, at the intermediate school, they were collecting milk cartons, and it's like it all depends on what the material is. Like if it's plastic bottles, and that would go one place, and the milk cartons would go another place.
And then you said the bins were too heavy for kids to pick up, because what was in them?
So I guess forget about what I said. I thought that this, with me interacting with Rick about this particular project, that would be a way to make contact with him and see if he was still interested in doing that kind of thing, with the school.
Do you mind if I reach out?
I
Not
certainly
at all.
don't object. I'd just like to get this ball rolling.
And what I will try to do is set up something where, again, I would like to work the three of us together so that, we bring the information, the past information that you have, and then what kinds of expectations we see, and certainly what we can contribute to help them out, because we're gonna sort of be asking them to make changes in the way they do things, potentially, or enhancing what they're already doing. But we can't just say, you need to do that. You may need to be helpful in doing that. And so I think work together, we can offer different things that we can help so that we're not just putting it on them. So I will reach out to Rick and see what the next step will be to whether, the holidays are kind of a crazy time. So I don't know that we'll be able to get face to face, but even to just start an email chain. And I had hoped that when you reached out to people, you would include us in the CC so that we could kind of come along in that, but I don't think that you felt comfortable doing that. But I think we need to work cohesively, but we need someone to take the lead, and if it's okay with you, I will do that.
Sure. I can compose an email.
Right, are you gonna do it, or do you want me to do it? Because we've been
Well,
waiting.
I know who the people are, so
Yeah,
But I'm just gonna reach out to Rick. You know some of the people, whatever, but that might have, either you're gonna do it or I'm gonna do it, but it hasn't been done is the problem.
do you know Rick?
No, I mean, I have his email because we've shared that around, but he didn't come to a meeting. I don't think I've met him face to face.
The only person that I recall having come to a meeting is.
Yeah, it was that guy. That was
athletic-
wonderful.
The athletic director, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
no,
that's Joe from the intermediate school.
yeah, and I would love to go back and reestablish connections with him. I think that was right at the start of school or in the summer. But anyways, someone's got to take the lead on this, and I'm willing to do that, is what I'm saying.
Did we do it sometime early January?
Well, I'm gonna reach out now and see what
Oh, you
they're,
are, okay.
I mean, if that's okay, and just get the ball rolling of who the players are and what their time frame is, and I just want to know what they're doing. Since
Right.
COVID, what's been reestablished? I haven't gotten that information from anyone.
Right, and we don't know if Rick is actually in charge of that, but certainly reaching out to him,
You would know the people.
find out, yeah, is he the one who's spearheading this, or is it someone else? Just so we can
Well,
keep moving.
It's if you want to find out, just go on the Green Team website and you could see who signed up for that at each school.
Right,
When I set it up, I tried to get two teachers from each school or someone from the maintenance department.
okay, Vanessa, thank you for volunteering to take the lead on that, and I'm moving it along.
So yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you very much. Okay, I just have a couple more things. One is South Shore Recycling is having their next meeting tomorrow. It's in Duxbury. I did send you the agenda, which has the, excuse me, the Zoom link for that meeting.
Yeah, I won't be joining. I have a dental appointment, unfortunately.
That's fine. I'm just trying to make sure you're aware of the meetings.
I had it written down, and unfortunately,
Okay, that's fine. Okay, does anybody have anything else that is listed on our agenda? Do we have any specific things for next month's agenda? Probably be a follow-up on the things we've talked about today. If you have anything new, let me know.
It would be great to get news from Todd about that swap shop rate one way or the other.
Yeah, it would be, but unfortunately, he doesn't have, he can only inquire as
Right.
can be, so. Yeah, I think it's been very frustrating for him and all of his towns because the money should have been issued for even the RDP by this point, so. He's somewhat mystified that money is not being released, so I don't know what that's all about, neither does he.
So are we at the end? Are we looking for a motion?
I am.
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay, voice vote, Vanessa,
Aye.
David,
David, I.
Mr. Jean,
Aye.
Miss Jean, yes, so 4-0. Our next meeting would be, let's see here.
January 14.
Yep, January 14th.
25, wow, 2025.
I'm sorry, what?
It will be January 14, 2025.
Right, yep.
Yeah, I got 5 more years to get to 19.
All right, I'm gonna turn us off then.
I have one last comment. How about I'll send an email to all the people that I know that are doing something at particular schools, and that will give everybody, who we need to talk to. How's that?
That's a good idea.
Are you gonna do it though?
I'm
sorry,
doing it
but-
right now.
Okay. So I should hold off now, or what should I do?
Well, Rick is not even involved at this point. So my hope with that, what I was trying to do was to get him involved, because he does extraordinary work. So that was my hope with that, was that would be the door to get him involved.
Can you CC us on your email so that we all get?
Yeah, I'll send it to all the people on the school,
Hello?
and I'll CC the recycling committee.
You
Okay,
can sign it from the recycling committee, so they know who all of our names are and who the members are, or however, but if we gotta broaden, I mean, I've kind of let you just keep your contacts, but it hasn't become something we can all work on.
Well, this should solve the problem.
Well,
This'll
we
just
said
open
that
the
other
door.
meeting where we didn't want to put all of us in it,
Oh, no.
but we met at your counter, I just
Yes,
said,
I know.
and include all of us so that we
Right,
can
right,
get this
well, yeah.
established, and that was almost 6 months, well, no.
Okay, are we all set?
Yes.
All right,